the button pressing from my part. Hello and welcome to another match of Dota 2. We see IG as well as Vici Gaming in this matchup, and this is of course a group number A matchup for the RedBull Esports Champions League, brought to you by Beyond the Summit, broadcasted here by me, Shiver, as well as my co-caster, Vikremont. Welcome back.
Good to be back, Shiver. IG versus VG, a very interesting matchup. Vici Gaming, they've made a couple rosters. Well, they made one big roster change. They got rid of XTT. FY left briefly. Now he's back. They have 2-2 now playing the off lane, the 3 position. I don't know. They look like basically about the same. They don't look any worse than they did at the Eastern qualifiers. They don't really look any better just yet. I think this is a team still trying to find their footing. I like the fact that they play sort of an aggressive front foot style of Dota. I just wish it was working out for them a little better against the sort of top tier teams. They didn't get LGD, they didn't get Orange, they have another bite at the apple here. Either way, they probably advance out of this group, and it's just a matter to see whether they can upset one of the favorite teams.
Yeah, and IG definitely one of those favorite teams that you mentioned. We've got a ban out for the Wisp as well as a Bat Rider, Darkseer and Lifesteer there as well, and that makes, of course, space for 2 heroes that we often see banned out as well. Vici on the side of IG just now, and the first pick for Vici Gaming, it is the Alchemist that they choose to go for, leaving, of course, the Vici then for IG, preferably, or rather having the Alchemist as a first pickup. So let's see what IG is going to pick with this. They are ticking into their bonus time. So far, Vici Gaming hasn't used any of their bonus time, and we saw that in the previous match of them today. They draft like they know what they want. They don't really use that much bonus time so far in any of the drafts that they've done today, I believe.
Yeah, they've definitely been drafting very quickly. It was especially pronounced in the LGD game where they clearly really wanted the Slark, and they got the Slark in the end. I like their draft so far here. I just think that IG also has an extremely strong lineup. You see that couple interesting bans here that we want to talk about, or at least I want to talk about real quick. The IO ban from IG. Vici Gaming is a team that, compared to most Chinese teams, is a lot more familiar with using the IO. FY is actually quite strong on it. They have no compunction with putting ZSMJ on that Chaos Knight and having that strong IO pairing. And so it's a smart ban for IG. Meanwhile, VG, I'm not sure what I think about the Lifestealer ban. I think Lifestealer is still an extremely strong hero. And I guess if they were planning to secure the OD for themselves, we saw recently that Lifestealer actually matches up pretty well against OD middle. So perhaps this was to say, we're almost certain that we'll get this OD first phase, and we want to make sure that he wins that mid as convincingly as we hope him to.
Yeah, and with that said, I mean, that's a pretty solid way to think about it. Gyrocopter is the carry that IG in the end goes for, no real surprise. And they pick it up, of course, before the next banning phase, because otherwise it would definitely have been a ban on the side of Vici Gaming. The ban goes the way of the Shadow Demon, though. Of course, one of the supports that sets up well together with the Alchemist, and we've seen that in the previous game as well. And it is the Chen that Vici Gaming themselves decide to remove from the pool. IG, we saw it play earlier today. They had the game up against Royal, they had Schwan on the Chen, and they just don't want to see it up against themselves. And you have to imagine, like, all these players are at the same venue, so they're seeing each other's games. They learn not only from the games they play, but also from the games they see the other teams play, so they definitely take notes while their opponents are playing. And of course that mostly goes for teams that are playing in the same group, which is, yeah, logical.
2 juggling bans for VG, so they really want to lock out the ability of Chuan to rotate and get those 2 supports to ruin the laning situation for Vici Gaming. I definitely agree with the Chen ban. I'm not as sure about the Enchantress, but It's a fine ban, and especially if, like I said, if you want to get rid of those roaming junglers that can also have the pushing capacity. There's some questions in stream chat I want to just quickly answer. Both CTY and ZSMJ are playing. You see them in slots 1 and 5 of VG here.
Yeah.
ZSMJ, just that's his name in Chinese, and CTY, I don't know why he's playing on this alias, but it's fine.
Maybe he met a girl at the venue. It's like, oh, I love you, I will have your nickname for the rest of the event, just to show you how much I care. Sorry.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. You know, never know. Anyway, Naga Siren picked up by IG. We know that they like to play that as a support. So there's going to be a lot of shutdown. There's going to be the Riptide. And the, of course, Soul Sumption already coming out from the Visage. That's a lot of damage going through. And that's a very good aggressive trial, I think, for IG to do as well. And I really hope that they're going to be running with that. As Vici Gaming, they picked themselves up a Windrunner and hereby have secured 3 cores already for themselves. So leave 2 supports left to pick up. We already had IG banning out 2 of the more set-up heroes with the SD as well as the Rubik. And in their last ban, they're probably going to ban out another support. Wouldn't be surprised if it is a Bane, because that's one of the remaining setup heroes still in the pool. But just any hero that is capable of saving the Alchemist from that aggressive trial lane would be a nice pickup. And Nature's Prophet will be the one that IG goes for their offlane.
IG really love that Nature's Prophet. They play it quite frequently. I mean, a lot of teams have a propensity for this hero, but here it does give them a bit of push, which they're frankly otherwise kind of lacking. So they have that ability to split push. As long as YYF has a pretty good game on this Nature's Prophet, he can generate opportunities later. It's an alternate source of, carry potential later on, even if the gyro's a little bit slow. I think it's an okay pick. VG, meanwhile, I'm very interested to see what supports they pick up, because there's no Chen, no Enchantress, no Shadow Demon, no Io, no Rubik. And Visage was secured by IG, where Visage is a hero that I think VG would love to play. So the interesting thing is there is an Outworld Devourer, and we already saw them. Was it them that played? Yeah, FY was on Dazzle. This might not be the worst Dazzle pick here either, for that matter. And he would be able to spam his abilities with OD's Essence Aura later on. Might not be that great either, of course. There's no Shadow Demon. There's no Naga. They won't give those illusions for him to try to heal up, and they've painted themselves into a corner with the supports unless they're willing to run something like Windrunner support and still take an offlane hero later.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Crystal Maiden. We saw her popping up a couple of times yesterday. She's still a pretty strong hero in terms of having level 1 abilities that are very nice for the Alchemist. I mean, you have a Frostbite and you have a Slow, you have your Frost Nova, and those abilities, of course, as soon as she is got out of position, she is dead, like, no doubt about it, and the Soul Assumption will definitely hurt. But we might see her here again. Yesterday we also saw a Venomancer. Not too sure about that one here. Of course, it was LGD International that played that one, and I mean, that's a very typical pick for them, I think. But VC Gaming,
yeah. I think they could take it. I don't know. Treant is still in the pool. I know that we haven't seen that much from him, but he's pretty good with Outworld Devourer, and if your Windrunner is in danger on the solo lane, he's pretty good with that too. And yeah, in fact, IG bans the Treant, so definitely their thoughts running somewhat in parallel. This isn't a situation where IG can really use the Treant for themselves, because they have their 2 supports. They have the Nature's Prophet, and IG are actually a team that likes Treant quite a bit, but it's just not the right time for it, whereas VG could use it quite well.
Yeah, I like the Leshrac pickup though. I mean, still with the OD, you can of course have a follow-up Split Earth. We already noticed, probably in Western Dota earlier this week, Alchemist and Leshrac Unstable Concoction can be a good setup for the Split Earth as well. So, yeah, nice pickup. Still think another support that actually has a better setup Disable perhaps is something nice. And not just setup Disable, but like a way to save an Alchemist or save anything or stop any... Oh, Earthshaker. What about that one? I think that would be a really nice pickup for VC right now.
Sure, and he's able to... He will be able to... Earthshaker typically has huge mana issues, but maybe the Essence Aura can help out a little bit with that. I don't think Earthshaker will be a bad pick by any means. It could potentially be quite effective. And the Lone Druid ban I actually really, really like from Vici Gaming, because we talked about how Lifestealer is pretty good laning against OD in the mid. Lone Druid actually quite good as well, because the Astral Imprisonment will not do very much to the bear.
Indeed. And they picked up a Storm Spirit instead. Storm Spirit, who is very mana dependent. Wow, what? Is that
Well,
indeed a support Windrunner? It is indeed a support Windrunner. Okay.
I think this is smart. Like we said, there wasn't a great pool of remaining supports. ES would have been, I don't know, okay, but especially now that the Storm Spirit's out, your ES will die extremely quickly. Yeah. Whereas the Magnus, I like this. The issue will be survival, but I think he can, if he skewers after getting netted, there's not really that much lockdown in this tri-lane. So you might actually see Magnus leveling just fine. What he won't do is get a Blink Dagger quickly, but he will find his levels. I think VG come out of this looking pretty good. I like that they eventually end up going with the support Windrunner, because she's a perfectly fine support choice. And I like FY when he plays execution-heavy supports like this, because I do think that his micro, his ability to sort of cast the right spell at the right time in the right place is very good for a 4-player.
Yeah, and Windrunner, like you said, definitely a hero that really lets the players shine in that aspect, rather than just spamming out spells. Positioning, of course, very important. But let's see who we got here. We've got, of course, on the side of Vici Gaming, Fenrir playing the Shrek, ZSMJ on the Alchemist, while going bottom lane, and Windrunner will probably join them, played by FY. And Looney Bussy is actually CTY. He'll be playing the OD, will be going towards that mid lane. And towards the top lane for now, Tutu will be on the Magnus.
Right, and sorry, I was just pausing to look at IG for a second there. Speaking of IG, the tri-lane, it looks like maybe going aggressive. I do see 2 sentries and 2 observers on Faith, who's on the Visage. Chuan will be piloting up the support Naga Siren that's just been nearly ubiquitous in this tournament so far. And then, of course, Zoe on his carry gyrocopter. Then for our 430, we'll be piloting up the Storm Spirit in the mid. Definitely one to watch, as Storm Spirit does not have the greatest of times against OD, but we'll see how 430 manages the matchup. And YYF looks to be going into the solo safe lane as this Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and we have actually got then a tri-lane meeting tri-lane. I was kind of expecting maybe VC Gaming going for the aggressive tri-lane purely to dodge their aggressive tri-lane that came out from IG. I mean, if you pick up a Visage and a Naga Siren, aggressive tri-lane is very likely from IG, so... but they don't dodge it. They are confident that they can maybe get something out of that one, or at least try to maybe at least shut the gyro down. We'll see how that's gonna go. I still think the kill potential on IG is scarily big. Scarily big.
Certainly, if they now in this 3v3 lineup, if ZSMJ is away from the tower, for instance. Like, we know that IG already has their full complement of wards, so they have a set of sentries and their initial wards. If they successfully block this camp, and FY and Fenrir are unable to pull, the lane is going to start moving it to around here. If ZSMJ is trying to fight here, he's going to get ensnared, and that means Rocket Barrage and Soul Assumption are going to rain down on his head. You can see that Faith has already leveled the Soul Assumption first, rather than Grave Chill. And this means that they're just relying on Chuan to set this up, get the ensnare, and then more likely than not, the person ensnared will die.
Yeah. And it all depends on how fast that Shackle comes out, because that's why FY picks it up. He is supposed to be there to save the Alchemist from damnation, and the Shackle can't do that. Just stopping a Soul Assumption from going off, stopping a Rocket Barrage from continuing on, or just being very aggressive. Split Earth comes out as well, and the sun gets charged up. It is going to be VC Gaming that will be picking up the first blood. Shrek goes down as well. That's going to be Chuan picking up a kill, but the first blood goes the way of the Alchemist, and that's going to be fighting aggression with aggression. Fire versus fire. Best defense is a good offense and all that jazz. It works.
Nice Shackle aiming from FY there, definitely. Maybe not the greatest positioning, knowing that you're up against a Windrunner to be in this area where you can get easily hit by the Shackle to this set of trees, but it is difficult to prevent yourself from getting shackled sometimes depending on the lane position. And so Gyrocopter takes a quick fall, and that's a pretty good start for VG in a lane where they kind of have to get a kill or two just to create space for the Alchemist.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just a kill, it is a kill on the Gyrocopter, and on top of that, even though Shrek went down, of course, I mean, IG gets a return kill, Gyrocopter wasn't there for the gold or experience, so that's even a double win. The net goes off on the Alchemist though, he's charging up his stun, nice Shackle as well, stun goes up on Zoe, and they won't be able to continue that from happening, but it is already, I mean, I think this lane is going to be having a lot of action coming off here, because indeed IG They need to get these kills to shut the Alchemist down. At the same time, Vici Gaming rather wishes this trial to be gone so that he can get a free lane here to farm. So he also will want to see if he can get some counter aggression just to force IG away.
Yeah, I mean, this is... VG obviously really want the Alchemist to have as free of a hand as possible. That said, even if he has a little bit of a slow start, it's maybe not fatal to their hopes. The fact is, 2-2 is farming just fine up top. In this 1v1 lane, it's difficult. I mean, Nature's Prophet is not going to kill the Magnus unless some sort of horrific error occurs.
Yeah.
And in the mid, CTY is definitely doing just fine in the matchup against 430. 9 for 7. Ferrari has some last hits, but no denies, and he's definitely falling behind in XP already.
Yeah, Astral Imprisonment, very painful for Ferrari. Not just because, of course, he gets burned of his mana, but also because he just gets denied of experience when the creep dies while he is in that imprisonment. So it's not going to get any better for now, and I think he's just going to have about his time until he's level 6 and then try to make something happen. Possibly on the bottom lane.
Now, one thing IG have successfully done also in this lane is check out the Sentry Ward is successfully blocking. You've got these 2 counter wards already placed by VG. Neither of them sufficient to clear this block out. So this means that VG will struggle to keep this lane from coming towards IG's tower, which is very important for this aggressive tri-lane to have XP and to make Alchemist feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, in the meantime, YYF able to keep at least a bit tabs on the last hits that 2-2 was able to get out. 17 for 3 up on 2-2 with YYF sitting on 11 for 3. Of course, the advantage is still going to be in favor of the Magnus, but YYF definitely not doing too bad. I'm kind of curious to see if he's still going to go for the Hand of Midas or if he's going to let that slide, like the Nature's Prophet we saw last game, of course.
Right, and right now we just see 430 basically jungling, so the long-forgotten Storm jungle, and this is actually sensible because A, you get some farm here. It's easier to do on Radiant, but it's certainly not impossible on Dire. And what it also does is times out the Astral Imprisonments that are active on you, bringing your base damage back up.
Yeah, just making sure that you've got extra mana to hit and intelligence to hit. Rather, I mean, he's level 4 compared to the level 5.5 of OD. He is not having a fun time, but at least for now, OD won't be able to kill him off, and that's going to be a good thing for him. Bottom lane hasn't seen action in a little while. Both teams playing fairly careful. They know the killing potential of the opposing team, and they don't want to be on the receiving end of that. Though they would, of course, like to get a kill, but both teams so far playing safe. Maybe. Swan. Whoa. Nope. Just almost faking it slightly.
You can see also the interesting, the Naga support builds that are... Sometimes you see people maxing the Ensnare first. Here, Chuan actually chooses to take the second rank in Riptide at 3. What this does is ramps up your Visage charges a little more quickly, so you can get probably 2 charges out that are both going to hit for a fairly large amount. And they feel that they don't necessarily need more than 2 seconds on this Ensnare just yet.
Now, with the amount of burst damage that IG has, and without the Chemical Rage of the Alchemist, they should be able to at least pick up everybody that they find, actually, even the Alchemist. But they are having a tough time. I mean, they can't really go for it. It looks like we actually have a ping for Chuan, but they don't go. But Chuan, you see Chuan looking for it. Oh, and he goes for it. Goes for Fenrir. Where's the follow-up? In comes the Split Earth. Up on Chuan. Here comes the stun. Up on Chuan as well. Rocket Barrage doing some damage. TP in from YYF. Nice shackle though. And Zo. Perfect power shot from FY. That's going to be 2 dead. 1 for 1. Carry versus carry. Fenrir will go down as well. Nice Eclipse coming off. It is going to be CTY that comes in. And that will be another kill on the board. This will be a disaster for IG. They lost their entire aggressive trail lane and then also their solo off lane or solo safe lane. And I mean, that was just disastrous for them.
Sorry, I missed one thing. Did ZSMJ die first or did Zofa die first?
I actually was gonna check, but I didn't think there was that many kills going off.
Alright, well, regardless, this is certainly not a great fight for IG. OD has been dominating the mid as, you know, ODs against intellect heroes are wont to do. He's 32 for 24, so he's... Oh, wow.
There comes a stun. Look at that damage. That's 2 hits from CTY. 1 stun that wasn't even fully charged up from ZSMJ, and boom. He dies. This is a very sad level 4 gyrocopter who just got nuked to death by a level 8 OD.
Yes, they're using the OD excellently. I like that they took this. If they were going to start rotating CTY early, which they did, the one rank in Arcane Orb, just to add that extra element of pure damage, is so good against Gyrocopter, a hero who starts with fairly mediocre strength. I mean, and he has bad strength gain, 1.8. He's not a tanky hero. That pure damage is going to chew through him incredibly quickly before BKB. This is a smart usage. You win the lane and just start using it. You see CTY not going for that fast, like hyper fast buckler into mechanism, actually building out a null talisman just to pump out that damage more quickly. And IG looking to respond by actually bringing the supports mid. I'm not sure it'll be so easy to bring this OD down though.
Yeah, they do also rotate the gyrocopter top to make sure he might get some farm there. I mean, that's one of the downsides of having an aggressive trial, and even if you do get some kills, you're always going to be a little bit behind on levels because your supports, of course, share the experience on the lane. And in this case, that just helps CTY so much. Shackle, Ledges, Tron, Trouble, here comes a power shot, Split Earth, and a kill. Supports of Vici, you're getting the better of it in the mid lane. Faith, the only one left alive here.
Probably gets 2-2 here, maybe. He does have Skewer, but it's only rank 1, YYF.
Here comes the Sprout, he eats his way through. Should be able to stay alive, pops himself, and he's going to be just fine. So there was a 3 versus 1 scenario here on the top lane. They don't get him. 2 versus 3 in the mid lane, and they do get the support there. So, yeah.
This is the Storm Spirit. The Storm Spirit, they picked it into the OD knowing he wouldn't have an easy lane. And you see the issue here. This is a Storm Spirit who's under-farmed. He ran out of mana very, very early and couldn't dive the Magnus any harder. Magnus walks away from a fight that he had no right to walk away from. It's solely the under-farmed Storm Spirit that can't punish him heavily enough.
And it's already, I mean, it's only 8 minutes in, right? But VC Gaming already ahead by so much. 3k gold, no towers down just yet. 4 kills ahead. And 3k experience, which is of course mostly in the OD, was level 9 at this point. For Nature's Prophet, still doing pretty well. Looks like he might still go for a Hand of Midas. But it is all coming down to what he chooses to go for. Seriously, does everybody have that staff on their Nature's Prophets?
Talk about the Scythe of Ice?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been seeing it more lately. Maybe they're just passing it around.
I think so. It must be. See so often lately.
They have given also, because IG are scrambling suddenly, so after seeing that OD, they're like, oh my god, he's a lot bigger than we thought, he's a lot more dangerous. They're scrambling to deal with the other lanes, gank the Magnus, deal with the OD, and this does leave some room for ZSMJ. He finally now feels comfortable enough moments ago to level his first rank in Grievel's Greed. A slow start, but the thing about Alchemist is, even with a slow start, suddenly you can find yourself facing a very large hero later on. The OD is acting essentially as a stalking horse for later Alchemist farm. But IG know this, and you can see them immediately sending the smoke down. They want to stop this Alchemist train before it really gets going. Unfortunately, ZSMJ, good instincts coming back to the tower.
Yeah, of course, everybody missing from the map. They actually don't see anybody at all because Zoe was farming in the jungle, Nature's Prophet wasn't there. So this is everybody sticking to their tower. Also on the top lane, the only one that's going a little bit out was CTY, but he feels probably quite confident with his scenario right now. But yeah, everybody just waiting and seeing on where they are. They do see Ferrari, he walked past the ward, so that's at least one person showing himself on the map again. But other than that, there's nothing. Apart from now Faith and Toronto's also. This should be warranting for more movements coming out from Vici Gaming again.
Sure, and Faith also, they took this Visage. He's been part of all 3 of their kills, but you can just see he's struggling. He doesn't even have his level 1 boots. I think, yeah, he just now has the gold to actually pick up brown boots. 10
minutes in. It's awesome. In the meantime, 2-2, we haven't really seen him leaving the lane just yet. We saw him surviving the lane. But so far, he hasn't really been trying to use his RP, which he of course has, to find himself some kills. But they smoke up, and it looks like this is the time to try and find some kills. But they'll find out that both Ferrari and Zoe are here. They are out-leveling them, but I'm not sure if they can actually take him down, if they have the damage for it.
Well, if they skewer somebody back in RP, I think they could probably make something happen. Zoe is still very not tanky. He's got this Tranquil Boots, it gives a little bit of armor. But still, if they jump on him, I feel that they can at least kill the Gyrocopter, even if Storm Spirit punishes them. Of course, Storm is in Visrune. Maybe this turns this? I'm not sure. They can TP somebody in on top of this, and
they
maybe
just Prophet can be TPing in, and they go.
They're gonna TP 2.
Yeah, there goes the Vortex already. 2-2. Skewers away and runs. Runs as fast as he can, and Ferrari not even trying to get another last hit off was kind of awkward, but they don't get it. And they rotate 2 people here. You just said that, and that's a lot of time spent for not being able to take anything. Not even a tower. It's like, well, you're here. Why not take a tower? You're outnumbering your opponent, but IG just boxed into a corner where they are afraid to really go in out of fear that there would be people TPing in to try and defend that tier 1 tower, and they just don't want to fight right now.
And Ferrari has such little mana to work with at any given time because, of course, he's sitting on his tier 1 boots still as well. Sooner or later, these will be, I don't know, probably treads, but yeah, almost certainly treads because of the Robe of the Magi. But he just doesn't have the mana to feel comfortable fighting Magnus and Windrunner in that instance. So he's coming around, he's going through the motions of being a dominant Storm Spirit. But because of the early laning experience and the fact that he hasn't gotten any kills since then, it's like it doesn't matter. Like, he just walks up and then realizes that he can't get the kill.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing for IG, or at least from my point of view. Like, they don't feel like they have a plan, and that's always troublesome. If you are behind, you need to have a plan how you're going to get back into this game. Even though they're keeping the lanes even, I guess for now their plan is to just try and farm, not show yourself, not fight, not try and force anything out, but not sure how convincing I find that plan.
I mean, at this point, they also haven't generated that much pressure on the Alchemist in the bottom. So ZSMJ still with the 1 rank. He was only leveled once since we last talked about it, but his net worth is climbing. It's now converging with YYF's. YYF, of course, did go that Midas. This will be useful for him to do a little bit of additional damage, especially since Ferrari isn't really delivering the damage just yet. The issue is they have to gank somebody. Somebody has to die. Maybe it's ZSMJ. He has the hatchet, sorry, the Quelling Blade, and it looks like he might even make it out.
Yeah, the sun goes up, in comes the TPs, and it looks like we're gonna see Vici. Oh, RP! That's gonna be 1 dead. YYF goes down. Can they find another? Faith taking a ton of damage. Here comes the song. And Faith should be able to run himself away. Don't stand in a poison spray. Thank you. He runs. They're home. They're out. Could have ended a lot worse, but that is, of course, no-go Siren for you.
They still get YYF. I think that's a fine use of their RP. There hasn't really been a concerted effort by IG to generate a team fight, and I don't think they necessarily can. And so you don't need to hold the RP for, you know, the one where I get 5 people. It's enough to just keep the Nature's Prophet down, waste some of his time, prevent him from out-farming any of your heroes. And OD, CTY continues to have a dominating presence. FY continues to have a fantastic game as well, participating in 7 of 8 kills on this Windrunner, having quite a few hackle shots, as people say already.
Yeah, and the power shots have been on par every single time, on point. And level 3 also on those, so yeah, starting to become more than maybe just a supporty hero. Of course, for the supporty things, Leshrac is going to be the one to look to. He is going to be the hard support in this game, as he's also going to try to defend the tier 1 tower top. Tier 2 tower bottom is going to get pressured. No, they're going to defend. Sprout misses. Looking for a new one. Shackle. Latch doesn't latch. Talking about hackle shots, but this one wasn't there. Kind of awkward. Who doesn't have an RP, so they'll let them go. Or am I saying they'll let them go?
I don't think they'll let them go.
They won't let them go. YYF. This time he gets shackled. This time he goes down. Net goes up on CTY. Trying to chase down Tron. He does have a 4-star, but it's on cooldown, unfortunately for him. And TP out from the gyro that was still hanging around here. And they should at least get a tower with this.
Yeah, another kill on YYF, continuing to harm this Nature's Prophet. This time it's with his Midas on cooldown, so it's a lot of wasted Midas time. Faith was just finishing up his level 7 here to get the rank 4. Level 7's really critical for Visage. It's 1-4-1-1, like you have your ultimate, you have your max soul assumption. So he really needed that 7 for IG to want to fight. The issue is, again, YYF is dying consistently. Ferrari still doesn't feel comfortable in the fights. Actually, Regen Rune is an opportunity, but there's not really anybody on the map to kill with it.
No, he rotates bottom, gets himself another rune there, and maybe he's able to pick up a tower. We do have ZSMJ rotating bottom as well, though, and that might now be a target for IG. They are there with 4 people. Why not try to take down your enemy's main carry hero? But again, that instinct from ZSMJ realizes something is up, and he goes.
Yeah, that's the second time that he's very correctly fled from a position not tried to entrench, not brought anybody into a fight that they don't know the parameters of. And it's a smart escape, frankly. He's not farming tremendously quickly, but hey, he's only died just the once, and that was that trade for first blood.
Yeah, which actually went in his favor as well, so going okay. What do you think is going to build up first? Is it still going to be a Shadowblade? He's got 2,800 gold. Shadowblade could almost be purchased.
I think Shadowblade is an option. I really wouldn't mind seeing BKB from him. Although there is the potential that Naga Siren just sandbags you, it does mean that Visage and Storm Spirit will do absolutely nothing to him. And maybe the Alchemist doesn't need to do that much damage here. YYF. No! He's gonna die again!
He is gonna die again. The power shot's already there, and I mean, I can say all those abilities all I want, but in the end, kill's a kill.
Bottom.
Oh,
even more trouble.
Alchemist, that SMJ, trying to run. Couple more hits needed. There we go. That Gyro picking up a kill. 2-2. He's already used his RP. Will be able to pick up the Naga Siren. In comes CTY. Wants to get some revenge for his carry going down. Goes on Zoe, and Zoe goes down. Double kill for 2-2. That's 4 people on the map picked up in one go.
Not worth it for ZSMJ.
Not at all.
And that's the thing, the OD is delivering so much damage right now, and the Gyrocopter, well, he is hitting BKB pretty soon, so that'll be good for Zoe to be able to have that, but with CTY already tearing through this team, just picking up a free familiar there off Faith as well, just another defensive song. Or actually, maybe they'll seek to turn it around. This is an opportunity for IG.
Yeah,
maybe VG over
in, ball lighting in as well, Vortex off on CTY, net there as well. As for Imprisonment will keep him safe though. It will mean that he has no net left. He has got a 4-staff, but he eclipses and dies as the Skewer hits up on 2. Nice shockwave still. Everybody. Oh, that power shot. Double kill for FY Storm, and Visage went down for that one. And it looks like Schwan tries to run. Zhao helping him out with the cooldown. Power shot this time missed. It's almost so close. And it's still the lightning coming off from Fenrir. Yeah. That power shot. It's like boom. People dead.
Even losing CTY, they once again get a dramatically favorable trade in ZSMJ with the new Shadowblade. They're going to kill YYF again. He's going to die for the 5th time. Alright, no maybe? No?
Not in range, I think. Close though.
Well, that's a good escape, but that was really close.
Yeah.
And the simultaneous mechanisms for Windrunner and Nature's Prophet, so IG won't even get that much out of this mech, I feel.
No, not at all. You'd hope like now you pick up your core items that would help you stay alive in these fights, but if your opponent have the exact same thing that they didn't have before in terms of team fight, there's gonna be not a fight, so you're still behind. And we have got the gold graph going towards the 9k gold in favor of Vici Gaming. We have the experience graph going towards the 10k, and
this is a good sneak.
Yeah, it is the thing to do.
Fate.
Once you're behind, sneak a Roche on your enemy is not gonna expect it probably.
Yeah, this is a very, very smart Roche. It's from the school of thought that if you have decent vision and you're behind and you have a way to quickly clear him, you can absolutely not take yourself back into the game, but give yourself a very big leg up by sneaking that Roche. It takes it away from VG, too. Imagine how much VG would love to have taken that Roche for the Outworld Devourer, and instead, it's gonna put the Aegis on Ferrari. And of course, they took the Medallion as well for Visage, a great item for this hero, and a great item for Roche.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, even if IG can't really put their Aegis to use, they'll at least buy time for themselves, because Vici, if they now push in against IG, they know that they have to deal with... That was a solo kill for ZSMJ, by the way. Carry versus carry, man fight. In the meantime, wait a second. That is gonna be a fight here. Vortex up on CTY, while lining away. Whoa, Faith goes down very fast. CTY actually taking a ton of damage, but is able to ask for imprisonment himself as Ferrari is completely out of mana. In comes ZSMJ. Out of mana or not, his hit still hurts. There goes the Aegis. ZSMJ able to run 4, already dead on the side of IG, and it looks to be 5 right now because Ferrari no escape. Wow. I was just saying they might at least buy some time for themselves. No, Naga Siren makes her way out, by the way. It was TT.
By the way, that was a fantastic timing of the splitter from Fenrir to ensure that Ferrari didn't even have time to ball lightning away with his new mana pool.
Yeah.
They completely lose everything that the Aegis, that the Roche Steel gave them in an instant. And VG, frankly,
they were
I
the
say
one to
IG
go in,
have
right?
made some mistakes. Yeah,
IG.
they were. Yeah. I think although IG have made some mistakes, and maybe the lanes didn't really favor them, particularly picking Storm into OD, but VG are playing out of their minds. I feel that every player is playing excellently.
Yeah, and may I just remind for people how bitter this might feel for Vici Gaming. Of course, IG invited to TA3. Vici Gaming getting third in the qualifiers, which gets you absolutely nothing whatsoever. Song. IG, want to take it? Go for 2-2 first. 2-2 indeed, already dead. That's nice. Nice shackle though. Nice power shot. A nice eclipse. Oh, he's already going to get dropped down. In comes Ferrari. Goes for a vortex. Goes for the OD. He's actually taking a ton of damage. Will end up going down. Nice split earths. Again up on 3. That's going to be a double kill for ZSMJ. Looking for next target. Finds Faith, but takes a ton of damage and will end up going down himself. That is 3 for 3. That's probably the best trade that IG could have hoped for. Better yet, they get a 3 for 4 because CTY, he bought back, and now also a buyback coming out from the
VG. They gotta be careful here. They are very ahead, but that fight was the mark of overconfidence, especially ZSMJ running in under the tier 2 tower against 2 Visage familiars. That was just not justifiable. That said, they're very far ahead. And the buybacks do let them muscle IG even harder. They let them take another tower at the very least. They spend a lot of gold for this. Maybe some of it unnecessary, but they're still in command.
Yeah, the tier 2 tower will end up going down. Probably. No. They actually, they're not gonna force it. Not gonna force out the fight. Well, kudos to IG for keeping their tower then. But the gold graphic, with that last fight, it goes down a little bit again. Because IG, they got a kill extra and they forced out 2 buybacks. Well, they didn't really force it out. They got it.
Right. And you can't see that on the graph, of course, but it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
The fact that they were able to get OD and Alchemist to buy back.
Yeah, you do see a little bit in the net worth, of course. But it's still going to be Vici Gaming that is dominating the net worth. With the 3 cores on top of there. Nature's Prophet, the only one in the top 5 that is not on the side of Vici Gaming. And of course, courtesy of his Midas.
And ZSMJ now working on a Silk Cross. It's a very good next step. He's already... I don't know if you saw him beating on Visage in that fight, but Visage was under no Gravekeeper's Cloak charges and sitting on the Acid Spray. Alchemist killed him in 2 or 3 hits, and the Cuirass will only accelerate that. Both in attack speed and, of course, the de-armor effect.
Yeah, let's see if Vici wants to make something happen here in the mid lane. They have everybody here apart from CTY. CTY is farming top. We've got Magnus almost having his... Oh, no, doesn't find anybody. Magnus building towards his BKB. See if we can find some more new items to discuss. We have got a Hex being built up by CTY, no surprise there. He already had his 4 staff, of course. Ghost Scepter up on Leshrac. 4 staff up on FY. So far, nothing really out of the ordinary. And I think the same can be said for the side of IG. Of course, you've got the 9-second BKB now up on a Gyrocopter. And that's the only BKB that they have. They've got the support Naga Siren. 2 bracers and an urn. Not looking too bad, but would have liked to see some more items up on her. But then again, she is a support, so we can't really judge it all too much.
I absolutely cannot, in good conscience, blame the support situation
no,
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chuan, no, I agree with you. I'm not saying you're doing it either. I just... Ferrari and YYF are really struggling. And Ferrari, I mean, Storm against OD. How can you expect not to struggle in some respects? OD is just in that 1v1, unless you get a lot of support, you are not going to win that lane. And OD has just used it to his advantage.
Well, Alchemist stuns himself. Nice RP. YYF getting shackled as well. And will be ending up going down. Trying to TP himself out, but I doubt that's going to be happening. There we go. Windrunner with a kill. And yeah, I mean, I agree.
YYF's positioning this game, I don't know. I hate to criticize a player who, I don't know, I feel for half a year YYF was the clear best player in the world, and he's had some trouble, and he's having some trouble here. 0-6 and 7 on this Nature's Prophet. He's barely been able to afford a mechanism.
Yeah, that's really tough to take. And I mean, support's also, I mean, you normally as support you get a lot of your gold from the towers, and there's only 2 towers down on the side of Vici Gaming. They're not really getting any gold from kills, because if they are in a fight, they'll probably be the ones to die. And overall, for the support, it's just very tough to get those core items up, to be able to be active, involved in fights, and actually be able to contribute to it. Of course, if you have a spell such as the Naga Siren song, you're always going to contribute to it. But if you want to use this song defensively, you need to keep your Naga Siren alive until the end of the fight. And that's actually quite tough to do right now.
Yeah, and I just want to also call out a player on VG who's just... I've been cheerleading for FY ever since I first saw VG play, and I really just feel that this player is just such an incredibly strong 4-position player. He's 6-0-11 this game on this Windrunner. And I said at the beginning, you know, they've given him a support that is execution dependent, and that's what lets him shine. Things like Visage, even things like Io, and in this case, the Windrunner. He's playing one of the better support Windrunner performances I've seen in a while. It's calling to mind, you know, some other popular support Windrunner players that are very good.
Yeah, can you actually still call him a support Windrunner? Because if you look at this Windrunner and you compare him inventory-wise to Windrunners that you know have been on off lanes and such, he's actually doing really well, as we are seeing Zoe. Maybe... Nah, he's fine. He is just fine. There's only one tier 2 tower left standing on the map, by the way, on the side of IG. And it looks like Vici Gaming is gonna try to move towards it and take it. Doesn't look like IG wants to defend it to begin with. Of course, their main defense comes when Vici Gaming tries to go high ground. And then there is a lot on the line. So, rather not lose the fight here, out of fear that then a tier 3 would go down. Rather save for a fight that they have all the odds in their favor, if possible, on the tier 3.
Yep. I believe that the... Actually, sorry. I think Nature's Prophet even, despite being a... Oh, this is going to be a big fight.
Yeah, only FY is the one that turns around. But in comes a team of Vici, and... Oh, because it's only the Windrunner, they don't want him. Oh, Blink. RP gets 2. Scores only 1, though. Only the Visage. Cooldown coming down as well. CTY, though, taking tons of damage. Forced out back and forth. Ends up going down. Faith goes down as well. Picks himself up the kill on CTY, actually. We have got Twan. Trouble has to run. It is Alchemist that drops. Mechanism keeps Twan up. And this is a good fight for IG. They saved their tier 3 tower. They might be able to pick up a little bit more. Power shots still going through. Nature's Prophet TPing into before what Ephemery is. Nova Edict on, but they won't overextend. They won't chase. They're playing it safe. They know exactly how to deal with the situation, and they're doing it very nice. I have to say, picking up the OD and the Alchemist, the 2 main targets up on Vici Gaming, is very impressive.
VG are just handling their commanding lead in a little bit of an... this is going to sound harsher than I mean it, but a bit of an immature way, right? They're playing like the team that sort of gets ahead against a legendary team like IG and is like, oh, well, we better end it. We better just go and kill them all. We know that we can. And just CTY getting caught a little bit, doesn't even get any of his spells off there. I don't think he even defensively astral imprisoned himself. And IG, not a team that you can just trivially swat away like a fly just because you're ahead of them. That was a good poised defense even after the RP.
Yeah, I mean, IG is an experienced team, so with experience especially comes the knowledge how to play from behind. And not to be too rude, but of course they weren't really used to playing from behind for a very long time. But lately, that's what they've been practicing most. Boom. Shots fired.
I do. One thing that's also frustrating, I think, if you're IG, Nature's Prophet right now is actually going to take a tremendous amount of damage from Sanity's Eclipse. They theoretically have these 2 semi-carry heroes who are both intelligence, and so they won't take that much Eclipse damage, but only Storm Spirit is past the threshold. YYF is actually not, so he will be taking, I don't have the calculation in front of me, but he's going to die just from Sanity's plus Unstable Concoction and like one other spell.
Yeah, smoke off for Vici, by the way. Oh, why? You see CTY pinging, ZSMJ. Why do you do that? This is the most obvious smoke. Coming out of nowhere to take down a ward without having a gem in your pocket. Of course, the gem is on someone else. There we go, it's on the Windrunner. Roshan. There's already some birds hanging around.
Yeah. I think even if IG... Well, the thing is that they maybe can steal it. You can never discount the ability of a Naga Siren to just be obnoxious and steal a Roshan. And yeah, they feel a little... At this point, I think they feel chastened by that unsuccessful tier 3 push. And they're playing a little bit more on their back heels. They do have BKB on Magnus, which is actually a pretty big deal for him to be sure to land big RPs, big skewers.
Yeah, we are going to see IG feeling a little bit more comfortable about coming out of their base. I mean, Roshan is still up for grabs, and is going to be an important one as well. I mean, the person that takes that, if it's going to be VG, it offers them an extra failsafe to just try and go high ground. And if IG get it, they might buy themselves some time to try and, of course, get more farm up and in the end fight back, be more aggressive and actually take fights rather than trying to run away from them. But it all depends on the Roshan. And we already see Vici starting with it. The bird's there still though. But in comes IG. Well, not aiming just yet, but they are moving towards there. Chuan knows that his song can help them take this Roshan.
It's dying very quickly, so they have to do it very soon.
Oh, like now?
Yes, like now. That will be a successful steal for
Yeah.
Ferrari. Nicely timed song. They use the Visage familiars to scout.
Well, that's gonna be one way to take it. They don't even fight. Like, it's like, oh, wait a second. They might fight. Chuan goes down for it. Well, that's a worthy death.
Yep. I mean, they discounted. They thought they were killing it so quickly that Naga couldn't do anything. And just well played to Chuan, well played to Ferrari, but primarily Chuan and Faith. Faith using the familiar to spot out the health of Roshan, and Chuan timing the song basically ideally. They got both the Roche kill and the Aegis, and Aegis on Storm is fantastic. It also, because VG have taken their foot off the gas pedal, Ferrari's now fairly close to his BKB. And that's going to be a lot of OD's damage taken away from one of the heroes they most want that damage on.
Yeah, and of course all those disables, I mean, you're still going to get stuck in an RP. But Split Earth, Shackle, Unstable Concoction is not going to be there anymore. And that's going to be important. And you want to, because you want to just ball lightning in a fight and just continue going. We are having another rotation though. Vici coming in. Checking, not seeing anybody, and backing off. YYF and
they
Ferrari.
do have the vision, so that they saw. It's just that I think Ferrari and YYF intelligently walking just out of range of the Blink Magnus. He couldn't get there.
A shame. Windrunner with the gem counterwarding.
IG have. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was gonna say Windrunner's gonna go for a hex as well, so we're gonna have more hexes on the Radiant team. We saw it previous game as well. Just very good for trying to get control. The only downside continues to be the song. So I'm thinking, where are the BKBs? Apart from the one for Magnus, because he just picked it up for 2-2.
They have the Magnus BKB. I think they don't want to overload on the BKBs in fear that somebody BKBs at a time that actually causes the Song of the Siren to impact them more heavily rather than less. That said, sooner or later I do expect them to come up. CTY was really just going items to stomp it out, to get the Scythe of Vice so we can even Sanity's Eclipse the Nature's Prophet. Obviously the actual sheeping effect is also extremely strong. I do expect him to try to build maybe one or two more defensive items as well, though. Like, I don't know. Windrunner, meanwhile, going for her own Scythe of Ice, and if they can leverage FY's great game into closing this out, that would be great, because this feels to me right now like the mid-game of LGD versus Orange, where LGD cleared out almost all of the Orange outer towers, and then didn't use that to choke out Orange's farm, and Orange was able to farm effectively in the mid-game, getting themselves back in. They didn't end up winning, but they made LGD sweat a little more.
In the meantime, the supports of IG. We've got Faith sitting at level 12, Chuan sitting at level 11, so we do have those level 2 ultis up. In terms of the supports of VG though, they are quite a bit higher than that. I mean, I'm not sure if we can still call Windrunner a support, but she is level 15, like you said, hasn't died yet, doing amazingly well. Has been in 18 out of the 26 kills, and a lot of those set up with those shackles, of course. The other support, level 13, Leshrac, and he is, I think we can consider him now the hard support, going for that BKB. Ghost Scepter already there, just going for a very survivable build.
Well, hang on. Leshrac could be going Halberd, right?
True, to just stop the Gyrocopter from attacking would be nice. Gyrocopter's got an MKB, by the way.
Right, so that would actually be... Well, okay, so the MKB, the True Strike, is definitely a good tool for that. So, not that great. Again, I thought about it a little more. I think CTY definitely should go the BKB. You could actually just kill the Naga Siren mid-song just by having the BKB up.
Yeah, in the meantime, bottom lane, we have a Chase. Alchemist turned on his BKB. Gonna be running away from this. A song is getting casted. Run! Run! He's able to run. That's a 10-second BKB. He will still get stunned up, though, but the Shackle helping out. And it is ZSMJ that's continuing to run. Brilliant RP coming off from Tutu, and Eclipse there as well. Faith goes down. Ferrari goes down. Aegis got burned. There's Ferrari back again. So, gonna be rocket barraging, seeing what he can do. 2-2 still alive with this one. Vortex, Upper CTY will end up going down as well. Ferrari with his BKB turned on, doing immense amount of damage. It's 3-3, but it will be 3-4 soon, as we do see a double kill for Ferrari. And the only left alive is FY on his Windrunner. Still hasn't died yet, surprisingly. So, Ferrari lives, though uses his Aegis, but also, of course, Zoe lives. And that's an important hero to have live for this time, because he died in a lot of those fights early on. But look at the levels he got with that. He is now level 20, highest level on the map. And this is IG taking a fight. Unfortunately for them, wow, not able to get anything in return for it, apart from just maybe a little bit of extra pressure on the tier 2 bottom.
I think that's a critical fight for IG, and they owe it all to that Aegis steal. Like, without the second life for Ferrari, they don't just lose that fight, they get crushed mercilessly. With the Aegis, they come away with what I think is a very favorable trade for them. Zoe is now not only all the way caught up, I think he's basically the most dangerous person to deal with right now. And the OD stymied a little bit by the fact that there's this BKB on Storm and Gyrocopter there.
He needs his own BKB. He gets controlled the whole time. Oh. He had a BKB. Okay. Was it still in his inventory? Because he didn't have it in his stash.
Yeah, it was...
Or was it on the courier then, I guess?
Right, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Probably wasn't.
I mean, regardless, I think IG, they actually, despite the fact that, I'm sure if you looked at the graphs, they don't feel like they're ahead, they feel like they're still quite a bit behind, but they've stabilized in a big way, and they are integrating the Gyrocopter to a point where now he has 5k gold. Looks like Satanic next for him, and VG actually don't have anybody that can straight up duel the Gyrocopter when he's Satanic'd up and BKB'd.
Yeah, you don't want to be out having him up against the Alchemist, because he'll only heal his life back on an Alchemist. The only thing that I would like to see on him right now still is an Abyssal. Purely for that Gyrocopter, just to make sure he can't do anything. Make sure he's stunned, make sure he can't pop the Satanic, and of course heal back up again. We do have Vici going mid, all 5-0 mid.
Well, they do have Basher on his ZSMJ, and his attack speed is good, especially when he's in Chemical Rage. Yep. If he gets a lot of uptime on Gyro, I could see him just stunning him down and taking a fight. I think that's what they're hoping for here. Nice stun from the Familiar.
Cooldown first and the creeps back. Oh, in the meantime, they're getting forced back top because YYF is just split pushing.
Yeah, a nice little split push from YYF, doing a little bit of damage to the tier 3. VG have to call it off again. And I feel as though VG are caught between a rock and a hard place in some respects. They feel like they need to finish the game soon, but now that, you know, some of their outer towers are down, now that there's this one lane that's pushed in, YYF actually, this counter push got rid of half the health of the tier 3. IG have made more progress towards high grounding VG than vice versa, odd as it may sound. I mean, they still have... The thing is, you can never count out a team with a 10k gold advantage. That's two very large items. VG have a lot going for them. FY has a Scythe of Vice that he recently completed. They still have the Scythe of Vice on Nature's Outworld Devourer. Yep. So if they can cause Joe to fritter away his BKB charges, they can kill this guy. I mean, if he's locked down inside of a sheep form, they will kill him. The Alchemist will find a way. The OD will find a way. Yeah,
once they shut him down, there's not just the Hexes coming out from Vici Gaming. There's also the Split Earth and the Shackle and the Unstable Concoction. So then he dies. But first, they have to make sure that they don't die while he is not BKB, while he is BKB'd. Of course, 5,500 gold, looking pretty rich. So kind of curious to see what he's gonna go for next. Might be a Butterfly. There's no MKB up yet on Vici Gaming. I say yet, but nobody is really actually buying it either. So would be a pretty decent pick-off.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know how much I love the Butterfly, simply because it's good when you're already doing well, like when you're in that BKB, and it's not that great otherwise, because they'll just they'll hex you, and you won't have any of that fancy evasion.
Of course, might also just finish up his Satanic. Why not?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely finish the Satanic before he even considers making something like a Butterfly.
Meantime, YYF going for a hex of his own. Gold graph indeed, like I said, being kept even. Experience graph is a bit more clear. Slightly in favor of Vici Gaming still. I say slightly, it's still 6k. But at 41 minutes, 6k is not really a particularly big lead. You're not a lead that you can count on carrying you through a fight at least. And definitely not with an Aghanims up on Visage.
I think the Aghanims is great. He actually went it even before tier 2 boots, I should say. That third familiar can extend your stun time. They're a team that doesn't have that much in the way of stuns, so it'll be very nice to have that third AoE stun as well as the extra damage. I think IG, I mean, they probably feel like they're pretty stable now. It's difficult for VG to high ground them.
Yeah, and I mean, how are they gonna go up the high ground to begin with? They have to get a fight first. Because they can, like you said, they're not going to be able to go in 5-on-5 right now. They are going to try to take Roshan, by the way. Roshan's back up again. Let's see, this time they got it. So they are not able to go on 5-on-5 unless they have an Aegis, I think. And then you have to at least, if you don't get that, you have to get pickups before you go. And now with the, they're just going to do the same thing again. Now the BKBs. Nice. Sell something. Sell that! He picked up the cheese! He's still able to pick up the Aegis afterwards, which is really nice, but oh my god, that was an Aegis gone. Storm will be able to ball lightning himself away, pops the BKB. It is Leshrac that goes down. Vortex now as the BKB of Alchemist runs out. Pops the cheese instantly, gets hexed, gets netted, and goes down. In the meantime, FY tries to do what he can. That is gonna be YYF going down there as well. For staff, CTY staying alive for a little while longer. Ferrari, Faith, Zoe alive. And looking for potentially more FY. He can still win run, doesn't have a 4-staff anymore, but oh my god, oh jeez. Frustrating. Why do you think he intentionally picked up the cheese before the Aegis?
It's really difficult to say. I mean, he takes the cheese. He can only really take one simply because of inventory space. I mean, what are you gonna drop?
You're gonna pick up cheese, sell the cheese, pick the Aegis. Maybe that's what he was gonna go for, and just couldn't do it in time.
That's a tall order in a team fight. The funny thing to me is that it's only a 2-for-2 after all that.
2-for-3,
and
right?
of course they do get the. No, it was 30-15. Now it's 32-17. I mean, if you factor in the fact that they did immediately get rid of the Aegis for Ferrari, but that cuts both ways. They immediately lost the cheese for ZSMJ. Yeah. So.
And Gyrocopter actually bought back. So that was a pretty important
point. And I seem to remember a game also involving VG where they had a similar situation. I don't think you can even sell cheese to the shop anymore. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I don't think you can. Used to be 500 gold. I'm not sure it's still possible.
I can't see the chat, but I'm sure they can tell us.
I'm sure they will.
But maybe you have to see that because I can't.
I'll take a look later. I think VG, this is just continuing to be more and more frustrating for them, right? Because they felt that they had the game well in hand, were unable to high ground, maybe gave away some fights that they shouldn't have, and every time they go for Roche, they find IG doing some sort of clever tactic to ruin them, and that's the power of the Naga Siren, even in a hard support capacity. She's now completely spoiled, with the help of Storm Spirit, 2 Roshans for VG, both of which they could have used to maybe close out the game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And now they have to wait until they can find a pickup, till they can get a kill upon someone of IG. And IG, I mean, they're just gonna happily continue on farming, and most importantly, happily continue on split pushing, because while that fight was going on at the Roche pit, the tier 3 tower top got dropped down by creeps a little lower even, and I mean, we already have got YYF continuing to split push here on the top lane, and at some point that tower will die, and it's like, you know, every little bit. This game is not over just yet unless one team makes a giant mistake, I think.
Right. And I don't know. Chuan now has the Vlads. This is a good pickup. It nullifies to some respect some of the effect of the Assault Cuirass because it gives them back the armor that they were lacking. And at this point, I feel like in a big team fight, IG might not even have any sort of disadvantage, and VG probably going to really wish that they had managed to recover both the Aegis and the cheese. I mean, I don't know, maybe CTY could have taken it? He has a BKB, so if he had just BKB'd before, I don't know. I'm not going to do any more theory crafting with the Roshan fight, but I feel like it could have gone better for VG simply because they have amassed BKBs. And FY, gotta be kind of frustrating to be this guy too. You know, still with no deaths, 8-0-16.
Yeah.
But his farm hasn't really gotten that much better since the Scythe of Vice 2. He has 2k gold. The question is, what do you do with it? And Zoe has picked up Eagle Song and the remainder of his Helm of the Dominator since we saw him last.
YYF will go down.
Godlike streak for the Windrunner. This is one hell of a Windrunner game, but she's not keeping up with the farm of the Midas Nature's Prophet, which you certainly wouldn't expect, and I don't think that solves their high ground problem, because YYF even has buyback. I think VG might seek to force it.
I would really like to see an MKB upon a Windrunner, and not just for the butterfly that will be there on the gyrocopter at some point, but mostly for their ability to then just push from the low ground. Windrunner will be able to do quite some damage, and of course no mischance. Would be nice if she had it now, considering she has a DD rune. They're just gonna see if they can get there. Nature's Prophet buys back because of that. That should be awarding a back off for VC Gaming. They actually get stunned up by the birds. But IG, just waiting and seeing. Schwan still has the song. Question is if they want to go in on it. BKB's of course still there.
Yeah,
Tower.
I mean, they want to siege this. Alchemist can do very good tower damage. He's got this cuirass, he has good attack speed and chemical rage. I don't think MKB works the way it used to work. They changed that in Dota 2, I believe. It no longer gives you no uphill mischance.
It does.
Does it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Either way, VG, they feel the pressure to actually make something happen. They feel the pressure to try to high ground, and now that YYF is up, there is this ever-present threat. You see him carrying the Town Portal Scroll. He can just try to counter-push the bottom.
Some agility being purchased. We have a butterfly as well as an ethereal blade ready on either side. Ethereal blade for the OD. So I feel sad for whoever finds that one. There goes the Astral Imprisonment, keeping Citizen J safe for a little while he's stuck. Tier 3 tower down to half HP. Is Vici Gaming gonna continue to siege this is the question.
Well, at the very least, they probably have to wait for the next Chemical Rage. It's a short cooldown, but not on this creep wave. They have to wait for the next creep wave, and I think at some point we're gonna see YYF take a little bit of a journey. He's just a little bit once bitten, twice shy as far as going down to the bottom and potentially getting picked off.
Yep. We'll see if he goes there, if he wants to try and get something in return. Their tier 3 tower, there's no fortification. It does go down. In comes the slow, in comes the vortex. Force that forward into safety, perhaps. Charging up his stun. Still has a BKB. Net is gonna stun himself. Turn into a piglet. But where is the damage? Soul Assumption doing something, but that was a ton of things thrown upon the Alchemist. And he just stood there. So, not wanting to get in range to try and make something happen. Afraid of the blinking Magnus. Sorry, blinking Force-staffing Magnus.
I really feel that IG are slightly misplaying this. I think YYF could have been there and back and done a lot of pressure to the tier 3 bottom already. I understand why he's staying, but it's just a lot of wasted time from the Nature's Prophet. What's he really doing here? Now the fight's here, now it's appropriate for him to be here. But they've already lost Rax, and Z Assumption can buy back at worst case.
Yeah, and their song gets thrown out there. Giving the space to pick up the melee or the ranged racks. BKB's turned on by others as well. Here comes an RP. Hits up on only YYF though. Screws him back towards where the storm just went down. Ferrari dead. YYF dead. Ferrari alive. And zips back in and out and is back into the base. Faith goes down as well. We only have 2 heroes left alive on the side of IG. Ferrari as well as Tron, but both sitting in their fountain.
They're gonna end it.
They're gonna go for the throne.
Gyrocopter bought out.
They can
Nature's
do this.
Prophet has cooldown. It's over. VG have won. They've upset IG.
What yeah, GG. There. I really thought this game was gonna last way longer than this. Do you think that was just because YYF didn't try to split push? Would have been
I don't know. I mean, you have to understand is there's multiple aspects of motivation there. He knows that, for instance, Alchemist is an extremely fast tower clearer in Chemical Rage. So he knows that the fight is, if he leaves, and for instance, if he's seen leaving,
yeah,
then I think VG can immediately race.
Of course.
Now he's holding a TP scroll, so he can come back, but I don't know. It's difficult. It's very easy to second guess potentially. Frankly, that's the thing. VG had such a lead accrued from their fantastic early game that as soon as they sort of focused and they were like, okay, we are not leaving this middle lane until we either win something big, so we either clear out a set of racks, or we're forced back by something completely out of our control. And I feel when they all got on the same page, they were just able to leverage the fact that at the end of the day, Alchemist does get big. At the end of the day, Outworld Devour had a fantastic game, and you've got two sides, you've got multiple BKBs. There's just not much that an underfarmed Nature's Prophet and the rest of his team can do to you.
Yeah, and all in all, IG indeed. I mean, or losing a point here. I think they're still looking okay to make it through the group stages, but I think Vici Gaming is going to be very happy with this win, upsetting IG. We are going to head ourselves to another big name matchup. DK Tong Fu. That's going to be our matchup for the next one. Group B is going to be up again 3 matches in a row. Starting off with DK versus Tong Fu. After that, we're going to have DK again, that time up against LGD International. And last but not least, it is Tong Fu up against XPY, and that will be our last match of tonight. But first, DK Tong Fu, stick around for that one. You are, of course, watching a Beyond the Summit presentation casted by Shiver and Vikremond, and it is, of course, a group stage matches for the RedBull Esports Champions League. Let's head ourselves into the next game. Stick around.